Paul gave us an idea.
I did?
Yeah.
Wow.
You said that you wanted to talk about movies in our past. So that each year and each decade of what movie we thought at the time was our favorite movie of the year.
This was so hard.
But now, when you look back, is it still that same movie, or did another movie replace it over time?
Yeah, because, at the time, maybe we're young and we like quirky stuff, and then when we get older, we say, you know what, this one has more substance.
You know how you messaged me and said, "Oh, just to clarify," and then you clarified, and I'm like, I understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, later that day, I called Don.
Because he didn't understand the assignment.
And he re-explained the assignment, and I was like, oh, you want it for every year? I thought it was like for every decade.
Yeah. He's listing all these movies. I go, they're not all that year.
I explained it to you clearly.
I didn't read what you wrote.
And you said, yeah, I understood the assignment. And I said, Don doesn't believe you. And you laughed.
Yeah, he called me and said, "Please explain what we're doing tomorrow."
No, that's not what happened. I started listing. I said, "This is so like the '80s."
He starts listing all these movies. I'm going,
all epic movies.
They're not all 1980.
I'm like, how can I do this? He's like, well, they're not all from the same year. I said, we have to do it for every single year. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Hence my text to Paul.
Okay, but legit, this took me 30 minutes for all 4 decades.
I did it in about 30 minutes or so too.
Well, I got it done.
All right, so I guess we're gonna start back in the 80s.
Okay, now for context, I was 7 years old in 1980. Okay, so
I was 18.
Okay,
prime movie time.
Yeah.
Prime movie time for me.
So who wants to go first?
I can go first.
1980. What was back when you were 5 years old? What was your favorite movie in 1980?
I would say at that time, Fame.
Okay.
Right?
With
Because it was the singing and the dancing. I watched it several times, and then obviously looking back now was Empire Strikes Back. But then I would have said probably Fame.
Okay.
And what would you have said?
I said The Empire Strikes Back because I remember immediately going out back to the forest behind the house and throwing rocks and whipping sticks around like a lightsaber. And today is still the same, obviously.
You still go back there and throw rocks and
play with sticks.
Yeah, good job.
I actually said from originally was Fame as well.
Okay.
Because I was big entertaining right back then in high school. I was in drama and all that, and Fame really spoke to me a bit. But over time, in reality, the movie that I've gone back and watched from that time has not been Empire Strikes Back. It's been Caddyshack.
Okay, but...
And I do really enjoy Caddyshack.
You think Caddyshack is a better movie than Empire Strikes Back?
I enjoy it more.
You enjoy it more than Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Really? Like, if I'm watching it again right now, Caddyshack will still make me laugh to this day. Wow. And when I'm watching Empire Strikes Back, I'm going, but it's cool.
Empire Strikes Back's goal is not to make you laugh.
No, I know, but that's why I said it's more enjoyable right now to me over time. Which is the assignment.
Not the better movie, but it's just the more
enjoyable movie to me.
Okay, that's the first shock on the first year.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay, 1981, Mark.
81. Back then I would have said Fox and the Hound.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember. Young. I don't know if you remember, but I mean I had the album. That was my favorite Disney movie, Fox and the Hound. Now Superman 2.
Yeah, you're a big Superman 2 fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna say back then it was Superman 2. I loved the bad guys, but now I have to admit that it's Stripes.
Stripes is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Mine was Raiders.
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Lost Ark. Like prime 19-year-old age, right?
I was too young.
Yeah, 19-year-old age, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. That was me for sure. But over time, been Excalibur at the time.
What, is that a cartoon?
No, it's King Arthur. It was the first King Arthur movie I ever saw.
Oh, okay.
But definitely Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay. Still the same for me.
Okay. And it's weird. It's weird that I would say that I enjoy Stripes more than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, but it's a funny movie. But you always think back to the exact same scenes in Stripes. the whole
march
stuff into Russia and everything. Everyone forgets about, but it's the whole sound up. If that's the scene we all remember.
Yeah.
1982.
Did you do yours?
Yeah, I said Superman 2 in Stripes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 82. Then E.T. And I'd still say E.T.
Okay. Not E.T. for me because I was scared after E.T. I said Rocky 3 and Rocky 3 because Mr. T was awesome and Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Just you can't.
And Hulk Hogan too. The whole wrestling
Yeah.
one at the beginning.
Yeah.
I said Officer and a Gentleman. Really good drama movie. Richard Gere. Really not Cuba Gooding Jr. We'll put the name up right here.
I know who you mean.
But he's been gone a while, unfortunately. But then by backtracking, I'm thinking most enjoyable now is probably Rocky 3 as well.
Chappie. That's who he's thinking about. Chappie. And Iron Eagle.
That's his name in Iron Eagle?
Yeah.
Okay, 1983, Mark.
National Lampoon's Vacation. Then, now Return of the Jedi. Is because Return of the Jedi, for me, is the best Star Wars movie.
So why wasn't it first on your list back then?
It just,
Just 'cause you were a kid?
as I've gotten old, like I laughed so hard watching National Lampoon's Vacation. The first time we watched it, it was gut laughs. It was like can't breathe laugh because there was just some things in there that was so ridiculously funny. But now going back, I'd rather watch.
Okay. Well, as a kid, I said Return of the Jedi because I was enthralled by Luke in black clothing.
Black suit, yeah.
And still the same. Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, okay.
This was a hard year for me because there's so many good movies back then for me to like at my age at that time. But Return of the Jedi,
Back then.
over time, Trading Places.
Really?
Yeah. I've watched that movie at least twice a year. I watch that movie. At least twice. I mean, Richard Pryor and... No, not Richard Pryor. Eddie Murphy. But, I mean, here's, like, The Right Stuff, Risky Business, Scarface, Vacation, Christmas Story, Blue Thunder, all out that year. Any one of those could be a favorite movie.
Blue Thunder. Is that like Airwolf?
It's
That's the helicopter one?
The helicopter one, yeah.
Okay.
With the guy from Jaws.
1984, Mark.
84 was a really hard year for me. Okay, so back then, I've got Ghostbusters / Gremlins,
Okay. Ghostbusters, Gremlins tied.
right? And looking back, it's Footloose and Karate Kid.
Okay. I got back then. It was Top Secret. Thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, you did.
And just Val Kilmer. He kind of became like a man crush for me. I just thought he was so cool. And now the Karate Kid.
For me, it was The Karate Kid. Probably looking back now, it's Ghostbusters. By sure. But also Beverly Hills Cop came out that year. And of course...
Which was really good.
Really good. So I've watched that numerous times as well. But Ghostbusters I've seen way more than every movie on that list. Even Karate Kid. So.
Okay, 1985. Mark, I know your answers.
Do you? I don't know if you do.
Oh.
Back then, Back to the Future.
Okay.
And then looking back, Back to the Future, but also Rocky 4.
Oh. One is so much better than the other.
But it's my favorite Rocky.
Okay. Mine was Back to the Future. Full stop. Same now.
Yeah.
Mine's going to surprise you. It's not Back to the Future.
It's a perfect movie.
I know, but I enjoyed back then the campiness of Schwarzenegger. I was still in my Schwarzenegger Stallone era, so Commando. And it still is to this day. I love that movie. It's so
a terrible movie.
Alyssa Milano's in it. It's so corny. Hey, you promised to kill me. You kill me last. Yeah, I lied. Just drops the ball like that. Like, it's so campy and it's just
that's
fun.
better than Back to the Future?
Tell me which one I've watched more. Commando, way more.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh.
1986.
Don't forget, I grew up with Sly and them as the big action hero guys.
Okay,
you were
but
still young.
No, I was at the right age at that time to appreciate
What would
it.
you have been?
I was born in 73, so I'd have been 13.
Okay.
Sly, or like Rambo and with the Terminator and all the... Okay,
Yeah,
that
but-
was my age group.
But you lived in Elliott Lake. Those movies came out 7 years later.
86.
1986.
I've got Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? And then now Top Gun, but also Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Stand By Me.
You're just going to list all the movies?
You gotta pick one.
These are so good. But I'd say probably Top Gun.
Okay.
Now.
Back then, it was Top Gun, and now it's Top Gun with a shout out to Three Amigos.
Oh, sir, sure, you can do a shout out.
Well, I did a shout out. I didn't list 40 movies.
Top Gun, full stop.
Okay.
Still to this day.
Okay.
1987.
Back then, La Bamba.
Yes, I remember you loving that.
Yeah, watched it how many times? 40,000?
When that plane crashes, wow, that's a good movie.
And then now, like thinking, obviously, The Princess Bride.
Okay. I got The Lost Boys,
Also an awesome
Kiefer
movie.
Sutherland and the Coreys, and now it's The Princess Bride, obviously.
Yeah.
For me back then, I loved The Running Man. Again, we're staying
Awesome.
on that
Awesome movie.
Schwarzenegger theme right there. But over time, the original Lethal Weapon came out that year with Mel Gibson.
Remember the 80s were so good for movies.
Yeah, compared to the crap we have nowadays,
God.
All right, 1988.
Oh,
this should be an easy one.
okay, well, no, not really, because then was Bloodsport. I watched it how many times?
Okay.
You
But-
just like to see him do the splits.
But that
No.
was Time Cop.
For some reason, I've got The
No,
Running
he
Man
did the
for
splits,
88.
actually. What? No, I don't know. Maybe it was.
What's that?
I've got The Running Man was 88.
Yeah, but sometimes it still made a lot of money in 1988, so it appears on the best
Maybe,
pictures for that.
but
year.
that's what I have written. So
I got The Naked Gun back then, and still the same.
I got Die Hard.
Naked Gun, I enjoy it way more than Die Hard.
I watch Die Hard every Christmas because it's a Christmas movie. No. Die Hard, Bruce Willis, original action film, the best villain of all time. I still say.
No, he was epic. He's not the best villain of all
There's not too
time.
many that I enjoy more than that. Because he was villainous and sly and sneaky at the same time, and he could lose his cool.
well, and he was smart.
Yeah, it was. It's not just these. I'm gonna be the best villain and take over everything.
You know,
No,
just because he had a British accent doesn't mean he's smart.
no, he's also one of the best actors that ever lived.
Okay, this is the last year for the 80s, 1989. Mark, what you got?
Then Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
Okay,
right? I would have to say it's the same. Like it's still the best movie.
really? Okay.
That's why he got that in the last trivia night in.
Mine was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Sean Connery. I thought that was pretty close to the goodness of the first one. Now, Christmas Vacation.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, I can watch that over and over again.
Yeah.
Here's a shocker. I haven't seen The Last Crusade. To this day.
Shut up!
What?
To this day, I haven't watched it.
Oh my god!
And I've watched every other Indiana Jones movie, and I have not watched that one. How's that
Why?
for a shocker? I don't know. I just never have.
That's pretty lame.
A couple times I've sat down to watch it, and I got distracted and stopped watching it. So, for me, it would be Batman.
With Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, and but if I have to be honest, which one I've gone back and watched the most out of all the movies that year? Little Mermaid, the original
Yeah.
animated feature.
That was a tough one for me.
I
because
love the songs.
I've seen it once.
And then I've gone back all the time. Like it's one of like Kiss the Girl song, and I used to sing that to my kids when they were being, when I'm trying to put them to sleep and stuff like that. So that one resonated with me, and I guess because I had kids at the time, that one
All right.
goes for
Okay,
me.
that's the 80s. Now tell me you don't feel nostalgic about all the good Hollywood stuff back then.
And we did not even list a drop in the bucket of movies that came out that year.
Yeah, so many
This was the hardest decade for me to pick.
to do. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And it's funny because the further we did this, all the way up to present day, the easier it got.
Yeah.
Let you know how bad Hollywood's gotten compared to the old days. I'm not going to the bathroom today, everybody.
That's a new intro.